My name is Thomas O'Regan, and over the last 4 years, I have 20x my portfolio growth, and I'm a professional property investor. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was in property investing, the importance of balancing cash flow with investing in intrinsic assets that have intrinsic value. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, well, essentially land, because it's scarce and there's no more land being produced, it's a limited resource, it has intrinsic value like gold or like oil or like whatever, stuff like that, okay? So basically, when you're investing, you want to invest in things that have intrinsic value because over time they hold value and it seems like they go up a lot in value. They, over the course of 3 years or 5 years or whatever, they might double, okay? So in a property's case, just to highlight, in a property's case, generally here in Australia, properties, and it's a rule of thumb, and it doesn't mean every property does it, but generally every property doubles every 7 to 10 years here in Australia. But if you are just getting back to the land, but if you are just investing in land, the problem with that is it's got intrinsic value, but it doesn't raw land obviously doesn't produce any cash flow. So when you're buying these intrinsic assets to invest in, you need to attach cash flow to it. Why? Because it costs money. Generally, you have to get a loan to purchase these things. You have to get a loan to purchase property. You have to get a loan to purchase land, unless you're already very wealthy. So what do you do to pay for the loan? Well, if you're a professional property investor, you find out a way, well, this is what I do, you find out a way so that you can support the cost of owning the land by producing income with the property itself. Now, this might be through renting it out, and let's just stick to residential real estate to keep it really simple. This is going to mean if the land is raw already, and let me be really clear, guys, like I don't go around buying raw land. It's not what I do, but I'm just trying to help you guys understand the importance and the difference of balancing assets with cash flow, okay? So the importance of that is you purchase you hold the land, it's got value, and you need to either spend some money or on the land that's depreciating, you need to spend some money that's not essentially going to have any intrinsic value tied to it, but the purpose of spending that money is to have the property or the land generate income for you, so you can pay for the holding costs as the landowner. And the holding costs, let's just keep it really simple, and not mention all the other ones. The big one is the mortgage, okay? So you want to spend enough money on the land. Say, for example, you put a house on there to cover the cost of owning that property, and the costs are the mortgage. So how that might look is, for example, you buy a $100,000 property, just using basic numbers here, you buy a $100,000 property, you get, for example, like a 80% loan, so you put in $20,000 and you have an $80,000 loan. Now, whatever the payments are on the loan, you need to cover that cost with rental income. So you might spend a bit more money on it. Say, we're just using really simple numbers here, guys. They don't have to be tied to any actual value. This is just an example, but you might spend another $20,000 on building the property. Now, to pay, you use the income generated from you spending the $20,000 to build a house or whatever it is on the property to cover the mortgage. And that's how you invest in property. You try and acquire as many assets as possible and tie it to as much income, and the income is meant to support the growth or the ownership of the property portfolio, because obviously if you have any idea how assets work, properties, things that have intrinsic value, the price goes up over time, and then you use those profits or the growth to acquire more assets, and you're constantly building the property portfolio or the investment portfolio, and it is constantly, the cash flow generated from the portfolio is constantly covered by the rental income. That's it, guys. Good luck.